What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. You're getting a double feature today. So I did an earlier video, kind of went over the tentative news or at least the rumors. So now I want to go over the gong show of the market, what truly happened, what the data points are saying, and everything else. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, Lucid did go down 5%. Crazy stuff, despite the optimism. So you did have a little bit more of a spike that did happen pre-market as well as during the trading day. So it did have a nice spike to around $4.29, which was largely because of this. So just, I guess, rumors associated to HL Group, which is a subsidiary of 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗧, if I'm saying that right, which is a subsidiary of HL Group, has been kind of working with Lucid, and that's for autonomous driving, more for the actual parts, not the software. Even though, based on previous disclosures from Lucid, like they have that information, they already have that technology, right? And NVIDIA was going to be the ones providing the software and the whole platform. So I don't know the validity of this, but again, this is one thing that really drove Lucid higher. Lucid absolutely loves its speculation. Again, this is no fault to Lucid. I don't think Lucid's ever really dropped any rumors. This is just its own investors trying to drum up I guess just hype or whatever else. So nonetheless, though, that's what caused it to go higher, and without any substantial footing, it got dragged down with the broader market. So markets got massacred today as a whole. So NASDAQ down 3.26%, S&P 2.12%, and the Dow is 1.5%. So crazy stuff. A lot of that did stem from this. So manufacturing data, 47.2 versus a forecast of 47.5. Even if you take a step back, us now in September, seasonality, September sucks, especially over the last 3 years. I think it's yielded like -5%, 10%, and 5%. So September already is a bad month. But with that data, it kind of shows more of a contraction, and this is the third consecutive report saying the exact same thing. So now that you're having a lot of people very spooked in the broader market, talking on inflation, just recessions, so much fear just came within one day. And at the same time, you do see this jumped from 30 to now 39%, and this is the likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. For those of you that have been watching my channel, I did say regardless of the data from now until September 18th, well, it's fair to assume that we're going to have at least a 25 basis point cut. Dependent on the data this week, this could rise, but that would be because of kind of to combat against a recession. And lo and behold, one day later, that's basically what did happen. But one thing that was very interesting. So I already did a video kind of talking about this in depth in the morning. So kind of pop over and go over that. I kind of was questioning the whole validity of it in general, but at the time of doing that video, shorts were increasing, if I remember correctly, like 4 million or something like that. Well, shorts said, fuck you, I'm done. Like, they increased 8.47 million shares today. Like, what the bloody hell? And looking at the volume, 40.06 million shares overall. This 8.47 is net. So that's them trading back, forth, whatever else. So there's a good likelihood that probably 50% at least of the volume could have come from shorts. That is insane. So yeah, 28.22% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 253.2 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost of bar average is 8.52%. So definitely very interesting in that regard. Moving over to options, 1.2 million in calls, 743,000 in puts. So dollar value is relatively low. 45% of all the options being done today were optimistic and bullish, but obviously with shorts increasing that amount, that there's a fair amount of hedging that is going on at the same time. These are some of the call options that were purchased. So you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around 450, but I think that is kind of skewed only because when it did spike to 429, even myself, I was selling 450 covered calls because I didn't feel it was justified, and clearly a lot of people were in the same boat as myself. So let me know your thoughts if you guys did sell any calls, any covered calls, or if you guys did puts, because yeah, I think more and more people are starting to kind of dabble a little bit with options. These are some of the transactions associated to puts. So people are kind of anticipating sub 350, and oddly some are even anticipating sub $3 by kind of within the next couple weeks. So not the best chain of events that is happening. These are all the transactions that did occur on the dark pool. So dark pool often enough linked to shorting as well as just larger entities. So you do see a lot of transactions today. Even on the secondary market, you do see a lot of transactions. It does show a lot of buying happening at the same time, but clearly the amount of shorting that was happening just blew this out of the water, right? Because obviously if 39,000 shares is being purchased, if shorts are increasing 8 million today, like all of this combined didn't even do damage to in compared to short. So let me know your thoughts on that. As far as today, even though it did have 429 the high, 374 the low, luckily enough it did bounce off of this general area, so the pivot point of 375. So going into the next couple trading days, we do know that is a strong support, so we'll need to watch for that to hold. So Wednesday is more of a technical driven day, so you'll have that at play. And then Thursday and Friday is going to be more data driven, consumer data driven. And then 437 is going to be the next strong kind of resistance slash target. Very wide gap, so anticipate a continuation of volatility, but I feel like this pivot is going to be touched once again before it does kind of move higher. But there's a whole lot of fear in the market right now, so might be kind of testing this range once again. So this S1 to the pivot. So that's just where I see things, at least. A number of retail investors were getting out. Stochastic, you do see it somewhat still kind of high, so at 68, so neutral, not really considered overbought nor oversold. And on the actual chart itself, my apologies for that, it is still higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. So that's kind of your quick video on exactly the many things that did really affect it today. And like I said, I think just people going into September realized seasonality, just it's not a good month for just market, and you have a lot of analysts starting to really question the validity of the data. You have shorts just increasing, so there's a whole different level of manipulation happening with Lucid. And then you have this, which yeah, is good, but there's not really much context, and individuals like myself that have been really covering Lucid for a while, Lucid's already said that they have the parts for autonomous driving, and NVIDIA is going to be parting or doing that software aspect. So I don't think there is a need for this. Just like I think people are associating HL Group with Hyundai only because both are located in obviously South Korea. So still, it's always been like that, right? Like if you guys have been with in Lucid for like 2 years, you already know people love to talk on like speculation partnerships. Like for instance, there was Apple. Like Apple seems to be the big thing that everyone talks about. Even Ford, like Hyundai, like any little hint of rumor and people just blow it out of proportion. So I think that's just what Lucid investors generally do. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing to be somewhat optimistic about the foreseeable future and wanting partnerships, but I think in reality, based on what Peter did state, he made it very clear that there won't be any substantial partnerships up until that mid-size SUV. So not to burst your guys' bubble or anything, but let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Did you buy today? Did you sell? What did you do with Lucid? And like I said, have you guys been practicing or dabbling with options? And if so, let me know. Take advantage of this promo. On a side note, it is up until September the 30th, so take advantage of that. It does get you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, so that is a kick-ass deal. With that said, though, I appreciate all of you watching.